Hello friends, welcome to VMH Learning. We start the topic by introducing the term vesicular transport. What is transport? It's the movement of the molecules from one position to another, right? So, when this repositioning of the molecules is done by a vesicle, this is called as vesicular transport. Now, what is this vesicle? This is a bubble or ball like pouch which is you can say a membranous structure. That means it is surrounded by membrane. Now what it does, the main function of this membranous structure is it stores and transports cellular products like proteins and enzymes from one compartment of the cell or the organelle to the another. Now, how this vesicle achieve all these things? So this involves the donor organelle and the target organelle. Now we are going to draw a structure for this. So we have a donor organelle. Okay. Initially a bud is formed from here. Now this bud, it contains the proteins or the lipids which are to be transported. For these materials to be transported, this bud must be pinched off from here, and it happens using certain proteins. We will talk about them in the mechanism. So what do we get here? The complete bud formed like this. For the transport of the contents which are present inside this vesicle, this vesicle needs to fuse with the target membrane. Let's draw another organelle here in pink color. So this vesicle is going from here to here and finally is meeting with the target organelle, and from here the contents which are present inside the vesicle, they are transported out of this vesicle to the target organelle. So now we can divide the vesicular transport into two parts. First one we have is the vesicle budding, or simply we can say it's the formation of the bud. Okay, then for the transport of the proteins or the lipids which are present inside the bud, vesicle needs to fuse with the membrane of the target organelle, and that part is the vesicle fusion. But before we discuss the process of vesicle budding, we need to know what is that which derives the vesicle budding. The answer to this question is the coat proteins. Now these coat proteins, they make a protein complex onto the membrane. Okay, so they make a protein complex onto the membrane for what? To form a proteinaceous coat around vesicle, or in other words we can say these coat proteins, they paint the vesicle on its surface, or can be said they make a layer of proteins around the vesicle. So it is like a bud is formed, okay, and the coat proteins here in a different color, they arrange themselves around the bud in this arrangement. So what are the functions of these coat proteins? The first one we have is the coat proteins, they give curvature to vesicle. So the bubble or ball like shape which is acquired by the vesicle is actually given by the coat proteins. The second one we have is these coat proteins, they act as filters. So this means it will allow specific proteins to get entry into the vesicle. Okay, now this would be decided by which type of coat proteins is in function at the moment. We would discuss about this. The third function of the coat proteins is they introduce V snare proteins into the vesicle. The snare proteins, they simply are the fusion proteins. There are two types of snare proteins, the V snare and the T snare. When the bud is formed, for the purpose that the bud can or the vesicle can fuse with the target organelle, the coat proteins, they introduce the fusion proteins known as V-snare. Now we have different types of coat proteins. The first one is the COP2. The proteins which are transported from ER to the Golgi, they are first packed in the vesicle with the help of COP2 proteins. So their movement is from ER to Golgi and they use COP2 proteins. The second type is the COP1. These COP1 coat proteins, they move back the proteins from Golgi to ER. Okay, the third one is the clathrin vesicles. These vesicles, they are coated by clathrin proteins and their transport direction is from plasma membrane and trans-Golgi to late endosome. So this was all regarding the introduction to the vesicular transport. In the next video, we will talk about the mechanism of vesicular budding and vesicle fusion. Thanks for watching.